Hello everybody, my name is Janet and today I'll be teaching you a simplified version of lithography known as kitchen lithography, using ordinary household items to create a small one-of-a-kind edition print. So excited to show you, so let's get started. So for this project, we're going to need a palette knife, tape, a brayer, etching ink, wooden spoon, crayons. In this case, I have litho crayons, but you can use any kind of crayons, scissors, paper. I have Arches paper here, a couple of sponges, foil pan, cotton balls, disposable gloves, foil, paper towels, soda. I find this one to work the best, canola oil or vegetable oil, and rubbing alcohol, clean water. And you're gonna also need a couple of plexiglass like this. If you don't have any, you can actually use some of the picture frame glass on your picture frames, and you can just put them back after you're done using them. So for your first step, you wanna get your plexiglass and your foil paper, and you wanna cover your plexiglass with your foil paper. Make sure you have the shiny side down. So first we're going to put some water, a little bit of water on the plexiglass, just so when you put the foil paper on it, it doesn't shift. After that, put your foil paper on it. I'm using some gloves because I don't want any of my fingerprints on the foil paper, because once you ink it, your fingerprints will show up. So right now I'm smoothing out the foil, and the smoother the better. So your goal is to get all the wrinkles out, all the bubbles out, and press it and move them to the edges. And that's how you're gonna get rid of all those wrinkles on there. So the smoother, the better. You get a better working area like that. So after you do that, you're gonna want to fold all the excess foil around, or you can also cut it. But what I like to do is fold it back, all edges. And then I like to leave one side open, so if there's any bubbles, there is room for them to escape. And then after that, I like to fold it, and then you would tape the back. In this case, I have one already taped, like that. And then before you start your drawing, you're going to want to get your rubbing alcohol and clean the surface of any kind of fingerprints might have gotten on it while you were putting it on. Make sure you get it all around, clean it. Like that. So it should look something like this. In this case, I have this one already. And I have already started my drawing, but I have not finished it. So what I'm gonna do is take my crayon, finish my design. I have been into plants during this time, so I was inspired by my house plants. And then you can actually challenge yourself and have different values in your drawing. You can make it simple and just have a line drawing. In my case, I want to challenge myself to get different values in there. I can't wait to see what you guys create. So I'm going to make some of these, color some of these in, and then half of them not, just to experiment and see how it'll come out. So that is what my drawing looks like. So for step 2, you want to take your finished drawing. You can also do this over the sink, but I have this oil pan that I'm gonna use. So you're gonna want to take it over it or any place where the soda can drain or go. So you're gonna want to take your soda and just pour it over your drawing. So this is making sure that the foil remembers your drawing. It's basically etching it into the foil. What I like to do too, and I forgot to mention in the materials section, to get a brush, kind of brush it over. I would do this for about 3 minutes. You just want to make sure the entire drawing is coated. And once you pour the soda, you're gonna see that some of the soda is not gonna want to get into certain areas. So the brush really helps it to get it evenly all the way around. So you're gonna want to do this for 3 minutes. And I like to believe that the soda, when it bubbles, is actually like really making sure it's etched in there. So I like to add more, maybe more than is required, but just in case, just to make sure my drawing comes out. So just pour it on again. And you can kind of hear it bubble up. So just do this for about 3 minutes. So for step 3, you're gonna want to make sure you get all the excess soda off. Dry it out, just pat it, don't rub it. Make sure you pat it, and it's gonna look like this. So then after, you're gonna take your vegetable oil or your canola oil, get a little bit. And this is the scary part because you're gonna want to remove your image. You're just gonna wanna rub it. Don't rub it too hard. It'll eventually start coming off. So this is the scary part, I know, because your image is gonna just disappear. But as you're taking it off, you're going to see that there's a ghost image of your drawing on the foil. And you can kind of see it when you're taking it off. So just take it all off. Make sure all the crayon is gone. And if you need to get a different cotton ball, then do so. I like to make sure I use different ones just to keep it all clean. So it's almost off. So it's completely gone. You want to make sure you remove the excess oil off. It's very important, or else it will print. It will print all black and your image will get lost. So then you want to also have clean water. So you want to make sure you have different sponges because you don't want to get oil on both of them. So I'm going to use one to kind of wipe out all the oil that was left over from taking off your image. Just make sure you clean it all off. And as you're cleaning it, you can see your image already on the foil. And you want to make sure you do a really good job at taking the oil off completely. That's why I like to have 2 of them. I like to say dirty water and the clean water. You want to make sure you take it all off. Okay, so I'm going to do it again with the clean water. just to really make sure all the oil is off. I like to do this a couple of runs. Okay. So once it's all clean and you feel like you've gotten most of the, or all the oil off, then you're gonna pat it dry. So you'll just pat it dry and then just wait for it to completely dry. So for the fourth step and last step, you want to get a new sponge. Make sure it doesn't have any grease, oil. Brand new sponge would be best, and clean water. So what I did, I dumped out the old water, got a new sponge. You want to make sure you cover the entire image and you can kind of see it. And then also roll out your ink. And then as you run the ink over your image, you want to make sure that the image is soaked. If there's no water on it, the whole image is going to turn black. So you want to make sure there's a small layer of water. So this would be too much water. So you don't want that. So you just want just a very thin layer over it. So after you're done soaking it, and I think I soaked it a little bit too long, but it's okay. It's not gonna hurt the image. So then you get your brayer on one hand, and then you wanna run the sponge over it, and you wanna reveal your image. So it's okay to put the sponge back and then run it over after the ink is on there. And you're gonna get some spots here and there around it, but you can clean those after. So don't worry. We can clean those after with some rubbing alcohol. So you wanna do this until it kind of looks like the drawing that you made. So mine looks about done, but I don't want this on the edges to show up. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of rubbing alcohol and remove it. And you wanna do that with a clean cotton ball. And you just remove it. Just remove as much as you can, or else it will show up on your paper. So I'm not gonna worry too much of what it's inside, but if you want to, you can remove it with a Q-tip. Just dip it in the alcohol, the rubbing alcohol, and just remove it. So there. So now I'm gonna turn around so you can see it. I'm gonna get my first paper and lay it over it like that. So you want to get your wooden spoon. You want to make sure you grab on one end, because if you don't, it's going to shift and it's going to ruin your print. So you want to make sure you hold on to it as you're rubbing it with the spoon. Those of you who have an etching press, you can run this through the press, but in this case I don't, so I'm going to use a wooden spoon. My drawing went a little bit out, but that's okay. That's the fun of this, because you don't really know how it's gonna look after. You want to put enough pressure on there because your goal is to get that ink onto the paper. So once you think you got it on there, then you can reveal your image. So, okay, just want to make sure it's there. So then I'm going to hold it with a paper, turn it over, and here you go. I just finished my edition of 5 kitchen litho prints. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I can't wait to see what you created. Also, please follow us on Facebook and on Instagram at Xico Inc. Thank you for watching.